Howdy everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm the Handy Monk, and today we're going to be doing spark plugs on this Ford Taurus here. It has just under 200,000 miles on it, and it's been, 80-90,000 miles since we've done the spark plugs originally. So we're going to get those changed out today. It's a good sort of long-term maintenance thing to do. So let's go ahead and get started. So this is a 2001 Ford Taurus with the overhead valve motor. So this is the Vulcan motor, very common in these cars. As you can see right on top here, we have the spark plug wires, and this is not a distributor cap anymore, but this is where all the spark plug wires connect into, and then they run off to each cylinder. There's 3 in front and 3 in the back there. Now the back ones are going to be kind of interesting to get to because they're really tucked back there. I've seen in some places people actually take this cowl off. I might do that. We'll see what happens, because actually I do have a new, under here is your cabin air filter, and I do have a new cabin air filter which I'm going to replace, and so we'll see. It might be worth just popping that off to try and get to those back plugs, but I'm going to go ahead and start with the front plugs here. So I've got these 3 should be really easy to get to, and I've got new wires that I'm going to put on here, and I'm going to do them one at a time just so I make sure that I reconnect the cable to the correct spark plug. And so let's go ahead and get this thing blown off and cleaned up. Let me spray these out. So the spark plug wires have these little clips on them that are holding the wire in place, just kind of as a cable management system. So you just want to pop off the connector like so, and they pull off the stud that's just sitting on the motor. Then you can get your cable free. And this little plastic clip comes off because you won't put it on your new wire. There we go. Alright, so that's where I just pulled the boot off of, right in there, and you want to make sure that down in there everything is nice and clean. That's why I sprayed it out. Just make sure you don't get any dirt down there when you pull out the plug. So here comes the fun part of getting out the spark plug. But I have here, this is my 5/8 inch drive spark plug socket, and it has a nice rubber boot on the inside of spark plug sockets. That way when this goes around the spark plug, the boot will hold it as I pull it out so I don't drop the spark plug boot. And now I gotta figure out the right number of extensions and lengths so that I can get this onto the plug that's back in there, and then be able to get a ratchet on it so I can get this guy out. There it is. There's the old plug. Alright, so I have my parts here. I have just some Autolite Platinum plugs that I'm going to be putting in here. And then I have a pack of Denso spark plug wires. You want to make sure you just get a good set of spark plug wires. And you want to make sure that you get a set that is, meant for your vehicle, because they come in all the different lengths that I'm going to need here, and so that just makes it much easier. You can see this is a really long one. Got some short ones here, and so we'll get all this stuff together, get it on there. It's also important to make sure you gap the spark plug correctly, so I want to make sure that the gap between the two electrodes, this upper electrode here and the bottom electrode are correct. And so according to the manual, it's supposed to be 0.042 to 0.046, and so I have a gap tool right here. And it might be a little hard to see, but it's marked off with different gap sizes. And what you do is this band around the edge is a different thickness as you go along the edge. And so you want to check the size of the spark plug gap. And so you just kind of move it until it, stops. You can slide along the spark plug until it kind of gets stuck and read off the gap. This is actually set at about 0.052 right now, about 0.052. And so that's a little bit thicker than I want it. I want to be down here around 0.042 to 0.046, so maybe 0.044, kind of pick something right in the center. And so I'm just going to adjust this a little bit. Alright, so before I screw this new plug that I've already properly gapped into the engine, I want to put a little bit of anti-seize on these threads. This will just help make sure that it threads in there well and that there's no weird reaction between the cast iron block and these probably aluminum threads as the plug is in there over multiple years. So I have a little bit of anti-seize right here. This is just Permatex anti-seize lubricant. You can get this at any auto parts store. Small little can here, so I'm just going to open this up and put some anti-seize on these threads, and then carefully, without getting too much dirt on this new tip, try to meander this in there so that I can get it screwed in by hand into the spark plug threads in there. Look at that, all this space. Yeah, you get all this space here. So I pulled the cowl off. Gives me a little bit better access to this space back here. And I don't know how well you can be able to see this on camera, but back in here, so here, down here somewhere, is spark plugs 3 through 6 on the back. And so I gotta get in there. So I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to show on camera. Be a little bit of a pain, but it's the same process as the front. Alright, so I got everything changed out, and there's not much to see back here, but it actually wasn't as hard to get to the back 3 and do all the wires as I thought it would be. They ran through pretty well, and they had a bunch of clips along the way which you can pop out. But removing this cowl right here to free up the space, that was key. So I would recommend, if you're doing this job, just pull this out, get it out of your way. It gives you a lot of room to work, and then it's pretty easy to get to everything. And while you're at it, might as well change your air filter. Alright, so now everything's back together. We'll just find out if it works. All these leaves. Look at all this. Beautiful fall. Sounds great. Excellent. That's all there is to it. Awesome, so that's all there is to it. That's the spark plugs on a Ford Taurus. Hope you're happy. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Remember to go out and enkindle and enlighten.